Hey folks, welcome back to Todd Bosley's world famous YouTube channel. And today I want to introduce my friend Brent, as he's known, Big Bet Brent. Brent, I've known you for about 30 years. I'm excited that you're finally doing some videos on a topic that I know you know a lot about. How long would you say you've been gambling professionally?
Well, I've been doing gambling. I started gambling probably when I was just a little kid, probably 8 years old or
Oh,
something, is when I first learned about it. As far as doing it all the time and being more on a professional basis, I'd say probably the last 7, 8 years I've done it professionally.
now I'd like to explain my relationship with Brent. Brent loves to gamble on sports. Me, not as much. But one of the things that Brent has been helpful to me with has been identifying players because, as many of you know, I am a sports collector. I have a large sports collection. I like all kinds of anything related to sports and autographs, those kind of things. And Brent has helped me identify different players throughout the years who he thought were going to be really great, including even helping me with my Muhammad Ali collection and guiding me towards the boxing and explaining how boxing is a worldwide sport. Um, Anyhow, Brent, I really appreciate our friendship. I know we've known each other for more than 30 years. I know you to be legitimate. Now, I've seen you win some big ones. I've seen you lose some big ones, but I've really watched you be
Can't win them all.
successful. Well, I know you can't. I know, and you explained that to me many times. Um, but I'm glad that we can host your series on our YouTube channel. I think it'll be good for people. I know you speak the truth and you just kind of say it like it is. And gambling is one of those things. You and I both live in Ohio. We live actually near Canton, Ohio. And for the first time ever in the history of Ohio, sports gambling will be legal January 1st of
Oh, yeah.
2023. Tell me what you think about that.
Well, this is something that I've been waiting for quite some period of time. You know, not too long ago, the only place that you could bet on the sports was Vegas. You had to go to Vegas. You could do some of these goofy places online, um, but you didn't know what was going to happen. You know, you didn't know if you were going to make a $5 bet, if they were going to pay you, if they were not going to pay you. I don't really like doing that too much, even though I have done it. Um, but the fact that it's going to actually be legal here in Ohio is something that I'm really excited about. You know, I won't have to drive, you know, 50 miles away, which is what I do now. Not that 50 miles is the end of the world, but, you know, I got to take a 50, 60-mile drive each way, through cornfields, you know,
It
just
is a
to have
long
a
way.
chance
Yeah.
to make a bet, and it's not a free thing either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I've had some site issues where I've had to get rides, had to get Ubers. You can't just take that ride for $5. So when you go there, it's got to be well worth your time. But I'm so excited that it's coming up January 1st.
Well, one thing I like about you, Brent, is that you're a responsible gambler and you gamble with only money you can afford to lose. And that's a message that I really want to pass on to anyone that's watching these videos. Just like you may like to go to the movies or just like you may have any kind of hobby, sports gambling for most is just a hobby. Now, for you, I understand it's a professional thing. But I don't want people to watch the videos and think I should go take every bit of money that I have and put it on this game. That's not the way sports gambling works. Explain how you manage a bankroll, how you handle your bankroll, how you pay your bills ahead of time, and make sure you're okay. Give us that scenario.
Well, the biggest thing is you don't want to be betting on games. You don't want to bet when you win or lose, or the amount based off of what you win or you lose. Like, oh, I won the 1 o'clock game today on the NFL, so now I'm going to bet so much on the 4 o'clock game. Or I lost the 1 o'clock game, so on the 4 o'clock game I got to bet twice as much, just so you can try to make up for the money that you're betting. You don't want your bets to be based on how you did the last bet, or what's happened previously. The biggest thing for me, and I find out that it works the best, if you're going to win more games than you're going to lose anyway, the you want to do is you want to bet the same amount on each and every game. You don't want to bet 5,000 today and then 500 on the game tomorrow, because you could have to win 10 games just to make up for a $5,000 loss that you just had. You know, you want to keep everything the same. You want to keep that scenario the same. You know, and as far as bills, you want to take care of your bills. Always take care of them when they come. You know, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, my bill's not due until the 12th." That doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. You still got to pay it this month. So at the beginning of the month, you just pay your bills and you get that out of your way and you get that done with ahead of time. You know, you don't want to bet money that you don't have or that you can't afford to lose. You know, you want to get yourself set up to where, you know, I'm betting this much on a game. Again, and I mentioned it before, you don't have to bet on every single game. You don't have to bet every single week even. You know, not every single game is a game that you want to bet on. You only want to look for ones that kind of stick out and that are winners, not, oh, there's 15 games in the NFL, so I have to bet 15 games. You might bet one, you might bet a couple, but there's definitely weeks where I don't bet any. You know, there's not always one that you see that is going to always be a winner, but you have to do your research. You have to look into them, and you always want to stay ahead.
Oh, I agree with that. One of the reasons I agreed to host you on our channel is because I know that you are responsible in the way that you gamble. When I first saw that Ohio had sports gambling, it was concerning to me because I know there are guys like you who are successful, know how to manage their money, and I know that you put money aside in the bank, then that money is not gambling money. You have your own pot of money. I just want to make sure that everyone watching these videos understands that this is for entertainment. This is money that you don't take money that you or your family needs. Your car payment, your house payment, your heat bill, your rent, and all of that all comes ahead of any of this type of stuff that we're doing. Now, with that said, if you've got an extra $500, I've watched Brent turn $500 into a whole lot of money, but he didn't do it overnight. He did it consistently with consistent wins, and there were some losses along the way, but you are a percentage guy, is that right?
Absolutely. The percentage is going to be the way to always come out ahead. And again, you're going to bet the same amount of money on each game. You're not going to say, well, I won 100 on this game, so now the next game I have 200 that I can bet. Because then you're putting yourself into a hole. You want to keep yourself to where, you know, when I win 60 or 70% of my games, I'm always going to come out ahead. It's not going to be funny because, oh, I bet 500 on this one and it was a loser, and now I'm betting 100 on games, and now you can't ever catch up. You won 4 at $100, but you lost 1 at a 500, and even though you picked 80%, you're actually down money. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense to me. When you're going to win more than you're going to lose anyway, you want to keep your losses to where exactly that you know that they are. Mm-hmm. You don't want to put yourself in a hole. You always want to just bet money that you can afford to lose. You know, especially when you're first starting out. You don't want to just say, hey, I'm going to blow it all on this game, or I'm going to bet it all on that. You have to build yourself up and work yourself up to where you can afford to do that. You want to make sure that you can always pay your bills. You always want to be responsible because it doesn't do you any good to not be. You go and you bet your life savings, your car payment money tomorrow on the Browns. I mean, that's the dumbest thing in the world you can do. Now, will it be one time or two times that you come out ahead? Sure, that could happen, but all that's going to do is give you false, you know, reinforcement that, hey, that was the best thing that I could do.
And it's going to happen again. Yeah.
Right, and you're going to keep wanting to do it and say, oh, I can do that again, I can do that again, and that's just not the way that it works.
You do that until you lose, and then you don't do it anymore. And yeah, so that was a concern of mine, but I know that we're in good hands with your advice. Now, you had told me that you were going to give us some picks one of these days. Is that still on?
Oh, yeah. I'm getting ready. I'm going to be setting up some picks. I'm actually going to do a college. I'm going to pick a college team. I'm going to pick a college over and under game. And then I'm going to do the same for the pros. I'm going to pick a pro game, and I'm going to pick a pro over and under.
And you'll do these free of charge. They'll be on our site, and people can watch it, and we can see how you do. We'll
Absolutely.
test it out.
Let's see what I can do.
How do you feel about this year's season? We're in 2022 right now. Football's just kind of starting. This would be October 2nd. What do you think the season looks like?
Well, right now, today would have been the fourth set of games for the NFL. So, like you said, it's kind of still getting started, but it's also at a point now where it's maybe starting to be to where you can see kind of what things are going to happen to teams or what's going to go on with this person. And my biggest surprise right now is Geno Smith. I'm sure people thought Geno Smith was dead. Okay. He's at 320 yards today. He's playing great football, not just today, but he's played good football for 4 weeks, and I just can't believe it because he doesn't even really have that good of a team, and they put up 48 points today. So these are the kind of things that if you look at it, you can make good predictions off of what's going to happen.
So I wanted to talk to you about Josh Allen. Now, this is a guy that you gave me a while back. He said you need to buy his rookie cards, and believe me, I bought many of them. I went on eBay and bought a lot of his PSA 10 rookies. Give me your thoughts on Josh Allen. You still pretty hot on him for the future?
Definitely hot on Josh Allen. He actually won on the last play of the game today against my Baltimore Ravens. Kicked a field goal, but I like him as being, one of the best quarterbacks in the league out there right now. He's with a winning organization. They're probably going to win a few Super Bowls, and definitely was somebody that I thought was a great person to invest money in. He plays good football. Again, he plays with a good team, and these are all things that are going to help him. People like him. So, yeah, Josh Allen was definitely a good one for you to be invested in.
I'm going to ask you for more picks like that. I know there are gambling picks, and I'm not nearly as interested in those as I am about who you think the up-and-comers are going to be, the people that are worth investing your money into their sports cards or memorabilia. Josh Allen is one. In one of your other videos, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. He's probably the best quarterback in the league, or one of the best, you said. But from a sports card collector, me as an investor, his cards are so expensive now to get in a PSA 9 or PSA 10 that I don't want to put that kind of money into him at this point. I would rather make my own gamble on a rookie coming out and say, I'm going to buy 100 of his cards or 50 of his cards. What's your thoughts on that? Because I know you're into sports card collecting as well.
Well, the thing about Mahomes, it's not that maybe his stuff isn't going to increase in value, but now it's actually a little bit too late to start to build something with him.
Yeah.
Again, it's not that you won't maybe make some money, but you have to put so much into him now. It just is not the right time for Mahomes. And there's always top rookies coming out.
Right.
That those are the people that you want to try to get a hold of, where you're not spending $1 million to make 50 cents. Yeah. You want to try to look at some of these rookies. And I pay attention to the college players and stuff, so I know who's coming out. Football, basketball is a big thing. Basketball is getting ready to start here in a couple weeks, so there's definitely some players that I would say are on the rise.
And the one I missed is the one you called for years and years and years. It was Tom Brady. Buy Tom Brady. And I didn't buy Tom Brady, and I should have. That was a big mistake that I made. Back then, but nobody really knew. He wasn't that great when he first started, and I mean he wasn't even a big draft pick.
No, but he's turned out so well, and he's played for so long, and so many people know him now and everything.
Yeah,
that would have been just a perfect one, and it would have not put a lot of money into him, even if you bought him 5 years or 10 years down the road, because he still wasn't really that hot. Well, now he's one of the hottest things that there is. And it was just a moneymaker for anything that you did put into them.
Well, his rookies now they far exceed 25,000 or more. There may be some you could still pick up in the 10,000 range, but they're phenomenal in price. So what I'm hoping you can do is help identify the next Tom Brady that comes out, and that people can intertwine what you do with your sports gambling, and also realize, and hopefully you'll do some videos on who you think is worth investing in, who you think may be a good bet. Although I know it's also a gamble because you can't predict injuries and things like that may happen. But anyways, that's been helpful to me. So back to Ohio sports betting, that kind of stuff. Is there 5 locations? Is that what they're saying? Something like that where you can bet.
Well, there's going to be, I believe, 5 casino
Okay.
locations where you're going to be able to bet. You're going to be able to bet in the casinos. Closest to us, it looks like you're going to be able to gamble at the Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame Village. So that would be the closest in the Canton area. They're going to have stores with kiosks that you're going to be able to just go in and put your money in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're going to be able to bet online.
Wow.
Where you don't actually have to go in person. As long as you're in Ohio, you're going to be able to bet FanDuel and places of this nature online. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
So what's the average starting bankroll you'd recommend for, a regular guy that works a 9-to-5 job, and what can he start out with, and what can he expect to earn?
Well, I would say on an average, there's not anybody or anything that's actually in an average. Everybody is different. One person's got 5 kids, one person doesn't have any kids, one person has a wife, another one has an ex-wife and a girlfriend, and everybody is totally different.
Yeah.
It's what you can actually again afford to lose. You want to be responsible with the money that you have, but you want to know what kind of money that you're actually spending. And as far as what you can expect, it depends on how hard that you're going to work. Again, this is the same for whether or not it's your job or your business or whatever. It's how much effort and time that you want to put in to show you exactly how much money that you can come out on. Because, there is no exact amount, or, if you bet this many games, you'll win this much money. That's a bunch of crap, because that's what you hear. You hear, well, if you bet 10 games every week and you're going to win 60%, well, how do you know you're going to win 60% of these? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. You can't just tell me which games to bet and then I'm going to tell you that I'm going to win 60%. The games that I'm going to be betting on are going to have to be the ones that I'm actually interested in, not just any game that's thrown out to me and then I have to, pick a winner.
Well, that was another question I had. So football, baseball, basketball, hockey, is there a better sport to bet on?
I wouldn't say that there's any maybe better sports, but you want it to be based off of a sport that you're actually interested in, something that you want to look into, something that you want to see stats on. If you don't like hockey, you don't want to be a big hockey bettor.
Oh, yeah, I would have no interest in that at all. Yeah.
You don't want to say, hey, you want to bet this team just because John Smith said this is the team to bet on. You want to bet these bets because you believe that these are going to be winners and these are going to be things that you can make money off of, Todd.
Do you have a preference of a sport that you like better or not?
My favorite, I would say, has always been football. Football has always been my favorite. This was the first thing that I ever gambled on. Like I said, when I was just a kid, my dad would bring home the parlay sheet and he'd say, hey, pick some teams. And I've just always loved football. When the football's not going on for whatever 7 months out of the year, it's kind of dreadful, to be perfectly honest with you. But basketball, I love basketball.
I've seen you do good with basketball. I know that for a fact.
Well, the hardest thing on basketball right now is these guys don't play all their games.
Oh, yeah.
They sit so many games and you don't know. You really have to look into basketball on who's going to play, because they don't have to even necessarily be hurt. These guys just say, I'm not playing tonight. And that happens all the time. So that's something that people need to look out for.
Yeah, especially towards the playoff seasons. When you get towards the end there, they'll sit them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does that happen in baseball as well?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It happens in all the sports. Guys are going to sit. But the one that you're seeing it in the most, where it really, really is effective, is based off of the basketball. Like in NFL, most of them guys got to play every week just to be in the hunt. Basketball, there's so many games. There's 82 games. Guys sit. You know, they say, oh, we're playing this team, so I don't need to play, or however that they come up with these ideas now. You know, back when Jordan was playing and stuff, guys played every single game. They never missed, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I think even LeBron, as much as I like LeBron, he's played 100 years. I think he's only played one season where he's not missed a game. So guys just miss games now. It's a regular thing. I don't like it, but you have to pay attention to that because that's a big deal in basketball.
Well, I know we were talking before we started this video, and you were explaining to me about the college mismatches that you like. Basically, where there are college teams, men versus boys, more or less. And you look for those kind of matchups where it may be an unknown university playing a Big Ten university. And you can definitely, you know, have an advantage that way. You want to talk a little bit about how you analyze and pick some of that?
Well, the biggest thing on those is, again, you have to do your research. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. You know, a lot of people will look at it and they'll say, well, this is a little school, but they're 7-0. Well, that means nothing. Just like the beginning of this season, you know, people were like, oh, well, Notre Dame is ranked 5th. They're great. Well, that was before they even played one game. You know, you got to actually look at what's going on, see what stats are happening. You know, now it doesn't mean that a team is undefeated and they're not any good, but you just have to look into that. They're not just necessarily good just because they have a winning record. And some of these games that you're going to look at are going to be men versus boys. I see a lot of it because of where I'm at in Ohio. We have a college team that plays a lot of nobodies, you know, and everybody gets excited about that. Oh, we beat this team, we beat that team. Well, you're supposed to beat that team. Not that your team isn't great, but you're supposed to beat these little schools. Let's not get too far out of range and think that you're so much better than everybody else.
Well, Brent, I want to thank you for your time. I'm sure everybody on our channel is looking forward to the picks that you're going to be bringing forward and just listening to your advice. I know that you have some really great videos planned for the future, and I'm excited to hear about them. And I hope you'll work in some of the sports card stuff as you go along. Identify players that you think that other guys like me should be investing in. So thanks for being a part of our channel. Folks, thanks for watching B3, as I call him, as he's been known. Big Bet Brent. He's going to be bringing you some valuable information on both the betting side and the sports card side here moving forward. Folks, thanks for watching. Check out all of his other videos on Todd Bosley's world famous YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.